Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside because the weather is nice. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Tuesday, July the 7th, 2026, and this right here, the thing that you are watching, is called the TNAM Daily Show here on the new American media because the old American media has failed you. On today's program, is Mitch McConnell alive? Proof of life? Anybody? Speaking of being alive, the Charlie Kirk assassination murder trial has begun. Do you believe the state's case? Or do you believe in space lasers, exploding microphones, covering up evidence, taking SD drives out of cameras and paving over crime scenes and a massive cover-up? Well, I mean, what can I say that you haven't heard people say? You're either on Team Candace or Team, I don't know what you call it, the officials in Utah who are prosecuting the case against Tyler Robinson. We'll unpack some of that. And a whole bunch of other stuff, including the U.S. soccer team getting shellacked right on out of the World Cup and so much more. But that's all going to come up in just a moment. What we're going to do at this time is welcome you into the show. We are going to do the replay of our previous show, and I will jump back as soon as I am able to. I could have hung out for a couple of minutes and then delayed the show or just started it with this. You're all in chat, so let's go ahead and full screen this, get you up on the screen because you are a part of this program, of course. We love you for being here. So let's go ahead and get the replay started, and roughly within the hour, we hope to launch with our brand new program today. Thank you all for being here.
No, you're a regressive. Thank you very much.
To be the repeat, the replica of what I did on yesterday's program where I replayed the Saturday show at the beginning. You know what? I told you this week is going to be different. Of course, we're not doing our regular Monday through Friday noon Eastern shows, but I'm going to be doing shows just different times. So here we go. We launch, and I'll be back shortly. Continue on in chat, and I'll be with you as soon as I can. Here we go.
Hey, everybody. Let's go live, shall we? Howdy. Weather can definitely impact our day. Thank you for being here on today's Monday, July 6th, 2026 TNAM Daily Show. Let's go ahead and combobulate ourselves. How do I take this off the screen? Hide. Okay, now we have control over it again. Now, what is this? Oh, it's showing that my last show was transcribed. Interesting. I don't normally do that. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go through the news, shall we? Cheers, everyone. World Cup plays tonight. I believe it's 8 p.m. Let's watch that. All right, 300 Guns showed us this, some masked commie or something, revolutionary, anti-American person here. When was this? Don't know the context. That's an American flag.
Damn.
That man.
Whoa. Back the fuck up. You trying to get caught? Hey, go with your fuck off. My fucking flag, you can't steal property. You can't steal fucking property out. No business doing that bullshit. You fuck off. Hell, you're the one that hurt me. Go fuck yourself. Oh my God, you need an ambulance.
We need a wambulance. The communists are very comfortable in this country, aren't they?
Did anybody get hurt in that man? Nobody get a picture. He hurt a person.
The Marxists are very brave, very emboldened.
I need contact information. You've got contact. You pussy ass bitches! Any of y'all got... Hey!
I don't know. What would you do? Would you walk past? Would you film? Would you stop the flag being burned? Here's a good question of the day. Tell me in chat, do you agree or disagree with what that dude did to stop the burning of the flag?
You know, I sort of get where both sides are coming from.
Filmed this incident on inauguration. The 2025 inauguration. Someone was burnt. I think it was I don't know if it was the DSA. I don't remember what group it was. I sort of don't pay too much attention to those revolutionary groups. But they pay attention to us. You know, that's a part you should probably be super aware of. They pay a lot of attention to us. And they've been coming for us for a while. Happy birthday, America.
Mission created.
I don't know. Let me know in chat what you're thinking, if you would walk past this or intervene. Because, by the way, intervening could be viewed as assault and could open you up to a whole situation. Ortho says, I would have stood there and burned a rainbow flag. Hey, wouldn't that be interesting? Adam Carolla talks about this Pacino movie back in the 70s called Cruisin'. And like this dude, well, I don't know, I've never seen the movie. But there's like a scene where it's like he goes into like the gay shop and he's like trying to infiltrate the underground homosexual ring or something in maybe San Francisco. I don't know. But he's asking the guys like, so what do these mean? And they're bandanas, different colors. Well, the yellow one means you like a reach around. The red one means you like to give it. The blue one means I'm like, and they all have a code. And so you present the flag of what you're into that moment. And so you're peacocking, you're advertising to the community. This is what I'm seeking this evening. Anybody in? Wouldn't that be interesting if you went to these protests and, oh, there's a flag burning. Perfect. Here's a Palestinian flag. Here's an Israeli flag. Here's an American flag. Here's a rainbow flag. Here's a Mexican flag. Whatever it may be. And you just sold them to counter protesters. Standing down there like you have a trench coat. You're like, hey guys, let me flash you some flags. That's interesting. Okay, by the way, we almost missed this. There and through the trees go This is insane. They're working play and and some people say, well, if you've seen one fireworks display, you've seen them all. Well, maybe not this one. And the rocket's red glare. The bomb's bursting in air. And our flag is still there. That's not the flag. Oh my God. Tell you what, they know how to throw a party. That's pretty ridiculous. Everybody hit the thumbs up button, hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend. Yes, the question, how did you celebrate your Independence Day? I took it easy. And I relaxed. And just knowing that Kamala Harris didn't steal a term, and that we're moving a lot of key components of things into the right direction. And it's slow. The wheels of government move slow. The judges, the rulings, the laws, the interference from the Republican Party, all of it, it moves very slow, painstakingly slow, agonizingly slow. Yeah, I took a little bit of time to relax and recharge. And it was good. Let's go to Elizabeth Barcahona. She says they spent decades turning public schools into Marxist indoctrination factories that miseducate Americans about our own history and heritage. This is how you take over a nation, and that's why they go for the kids. Nearly half of Americans, 2/3 of Gen Z, don't know what America's 250th commemorates. The adoption of the Declaration of Independence. What? Some thought the founding of Jamestown. Some thought the first U.S. presidential election. Some thought the victory in the Revolutionary War. Well, I mean, you're not going to have a birthday unless you get the victory in the Revolutionary War. So that one might be a little, I don't know. I would swing that over to the other side. The Pilgrims landing at Plymouth Rock? No, that's not it. Well, when parents overheard this happening over our kids' shoulders on Zoom during the school shutdowns and came to school board meetings to complain, the Biden administration labeled us domestic terrorists. Meanwhile, they're graduating our schools believing America deserved 9/11. Gotta fix the schools. Linda McMahon, get going. You can check out anytime. Lady Archer said, so you're telling me an immigrant born here is a birthright citizen, but me being a 10-generation American makes me a colonizer that stole land? Cool story, bro. Cool story. Remember who you are, American. You are the heir of Washington. You came from those who would rather die than give up their freedom. You came from settlers who conquered the West. You came from Christians who died for their faith. You came from men committed to preserving liberty. You came from those who run into gunfire for the sake of their country. Remember who you are, American.
The
Tyler Robinson case is happening right now with Charlie Kirk. Tell me your thoughts on the preliminary. Like, how close are you following it? What have you noticed? Anything shocking? Anything surprising? Anything damning? Here's Tyler Fisher's comments. Oh, did they go away? I don't know how to get back to that.
The thing, too, about Charlie Kirk is, even if he didn't like you or like your beliefs, he would be fighting to figure out what happened to you as a stranger.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know what can be done. However, enough people getting together and going on the internet and calling out the COVID shit is the reason it ended. That's why it ended. We beat that shit every day. We just beat it over the head. And I'm not talking, yeah, I made videos about it, but you guys shared them. You liked them. It was a collaborative effort. There's no one person that did it. It was the group of us. So maybe that'll happen with this. I don't know. I hope so. Sure hope so.
By the way, in case you're curious, now that it's a little more zoomed in on me, I made a conscious decision to keep this shirt on for today's program. This was a decision that was made. Tyler Robinson. The trial's happening. I've got a lot of questions. I could easily serve on this jury. Easily. I have a laundry list of questions that I would love to hear some resolution to. I'm not in the Candace camp. I'm not in the Tucker camp. I'm not in the anti-Candace camp or the anti-Tucker camp on this. I would want all of you looking around if something like that happened to me. I would want you asking every question as earnestly and urgently as possible. So here we go. Trial is starting. All right, what is this? Oh. Homer Pavlos says, look at this ratio. 428,000 dislikes. I believe that's on YouTube. This is the most embarrassing moment of Chris Nolan's career. He will be remembered as a weak man who bowed to a dying immoral agenda. Woke Hollywood is dead. Elon Musk says, Chris Nolan desecrated Homer and groveled on his knees just to meet the woke rules required to win an Oscar. This is for the Odyssey. They changed the characters. They put in woke characters. There's a woke Hollywood agenda. You have to be non-white. The worst thing you can be is white, followed by the worst thing you can be is, I think, straight, followed by, I think, the worst thing you can be is Christian. I think the worst thing you can be. It's a whole woke thing. You have to put certain items into a tic-tac-toe box. You need to push the trans agenda. You need to push the gay agenda. You need to push the deep state globalist agenda. You have to push the anti-libertarian, anti-nationalist agenda. They're sort of like, it's a checklist. It's a shopping checklist. If you want to be eligible for an Oscar, you have to go through these things, which is wild. This is sort of the entertainment version of what YouTube is facing if they want to continue operating in England. They want you to basically only have their approved narratives on every topic. We're not going to allow the algorithm to find what's happening and determine it and show people and let the thumbs up, thumbs down ratio prove something's crap or something's awesome, whether something's true, whether something's false. I haven't seen the Odyssey. I have no interest in it. I think they have an actress, the girl that used to be in something, and then she says, I'm a boy, and then she's changed her Page, Ellen Elliott Page. I believe that person is in this movie. I don't know. There's showing a screaming black Roman here, maybe. Not entirely certain. But yeah, woke Hollywood has been going pretty strong for 20, 30 years. I'd say back in the 80s, there was the peak, 80s through the 90s was peak entertainment, peak Americana. And I think that's obvious. I don't think it's up for debate. Not even remotely up for debate. Tucker Tacto. And say that 5 times fast. What's up, Mark? What's up, Ortho? What's up, Dina? What's up, everybody? Happy to have you. Anyway, let me know if you've seen The Odyssey and if you had any thoughts. Has anyone seen Young Washington? I know a lot of people going this week. All right, Mexican fans launched Shaheed drone strikes at England's hotel. What? FIFA World Cup. What was the one I was going to show you? Mahmoud says Argentine peso versus Egyptian pound. The winner gets a loan from the IMF. That's kind of funny. Which Jess said, buy the knockoff soccer jerseys. Who gives a fuck? Are you supporting Adidas or are you supporting Mexico? Oh, I got it. Sorry, I can't do the chat. It just screws up the screen. I love having chat on. I guess they're complaining that Azteca Stadium in Mexico is 10,000 meters above sea level, higher than Mount Everest. What was the one? Oh, yeah. Here's Paris after the France versus Morocco match, regardless of who wins. Basically, and be like, Grand Theft Auto, probably. So, by the way, speaking of the World Cup, this is a huge story. President Trump is being credited or hang on, what's this breaking news? FIFA rejects the Belgium request and Balogun is still clear to play versus Belgium. So Folarin Balogun, this dude, you can think of him as the LeBron James. He does the LeBron James crusher, kind of like lifts a knee and breaks it over his knee. He's the scorer. He's the Kobe Bryant. He's the Michael Jordan. You'd be like, LeBron, he doesn't. Dude, LeBron is the NBA's leading all-time scorer. Yes, it's a fair analogy. And at any time in his prime, and probably I can be good once now as I ever was. Maybe not for as long an extended period at 23 years in the league, but yeah, you're still good having LeBron James' court vision, awareness, and skill set on the court. But this guy is the one that puts points on the board. In Belgium said, what is this? I didn't know Independence Day, 4th of July was also April Fool's Day. Complaining that the red card of penalty that was not called on the pitch, it was not called on the field. They went to a review and they went frame by frame by frame and they said, oh, that should be a red card. And that means that player can't play the rest of the game and the U.S. can't replace him. So it gave the opponent a 30-minute advantage. It's crazy rules. Then it said for the next game, if you win, you're ineligible to play in that game. So you take your best player off the field for a game and a half for something that wasn't called a penalty on the field. They went to replay. So Greg right here posted this. Pop Base, Donald Trump thanks FIFA for reversing the one-game red card ban of USA striker Folarin Balogun. There we go. Greg says, say what you want about Trump, but I don't think Kamala Harris would have gotten that red card reversed. No. Kamala ain't negotiating nothing. Thank you, President Trump. But as I've listened over the past several days to soccer experts, it in no way met the criteria of something malicious. It was two players going up for a ball. Maybe the motion that led the follow through to that position was a little reckless, but you're competing at the highest level as hard as you can. It's in the NBA. Is there a flagrant foul, flagrant 1, flagrant 2? Are you going to be ejected from the game? Or it was just a hard foul? Or were you intentionally trying to, like, did you go out of your way to hit a person in the face when they're in a vulnerable position? Or a jump shooter at the 3-point line, getting underneath their feet so it buckles there. And that's sort of what this was, but it didn't meet the threshold. So now the U.S. has their number 1 goal scorer back for tonight's game. I'm excited. I want to win this thing. If we can take hockey, we can take this. We showed you that post last week. Do Americans really think they can win the cup, the World Cup? Americans always think they can win everything. Yes, we aim at the gold medal, try to get the best. That's the goal, to try to become the best that we can, the best around. And that's shit that doesn't happen in communism. It's stuff that doesn't happen in Marxism or socialism. You do just so much so you don't get in trouble, and you don't innovate, you don't give a shit, you don't risk, you don't toil. You know, that's the thing. Oh, well, it's only a couple people do well in America. It's like, do you know how long it takes to do well in America? Sometimes that happens overnight. And yeah, some families are created and some people are born into it. And hooray, if you're able to raise some sort of family or business, some sort of product line that serves the people enough where people want to keep continuing to purchase it of their own free will and accord, not by government force. It takes a special breed of person that's going to get their ass kicked for a while. It's going to have to, like, tighten up the, really go through it and sacrifice. I could be doing this, or I'm going to do this instead. And that's what America's about. We think we can win anything. Oh, I still have Tucker Tack-Toe on the screen, which is great. Yeah, say what you want, but I don't think Kamala Harris would have gotten that red card reversed. I agree. Here, we'll drop a I concur button. Please click. Jeb Bush reference. That's the comment I left there. All right. U.S. Supreme Court rules 6-3, according to ALX, that migrants coming from Mexico who show up at the border have not arrived in the United States, and are not allowed to apply for asylum. Are we really debating this? This is a great ruling. That's huge. But were things really this bad where we have to be this blunt about the most obvious shit? Look, if you want to be a part of our group, you got to be exceptional. You got to do your best every day to be a pretty decent person. Don't reach into the free pile any more times than you have to. Do your damnedest. And don't you dare cause problems for people around here. We've been here longer. We got a way about doing things, and we don't want to see people get abused. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. There's a process if you want to come in here, and you do it the right way. You don't just sneak in. You start sneaking in, we instantly have a problem. We don't do that here. Okay, well, that's fantastic. Any more context on this? Obviously, it was, let's see, Mullen, Secretary of Homeland Security, Othelado. Anyway, it was from a week ago, but if that interpretation is right, I'm trying to figure out which one. It's not new because the session's over. They held the terrible decision for last. To paraphrase Justice Alito, one must be in the United States to have arrived in the United States. Guys, 250 years in, and we're trying to define simple shit like this. college admission. You want to come here, there's a process. You got to kind of let us know what's going on, what your intentions are, what your connections are, what your ideology is. Like, we don't want you coming here to try to ruin anything. And there's a lot of people that are. We got our own thing going. You can go anywhere else. We won't limit your travels anywhere else. But if you want to come in here, there's an entrance exam. Because if we've been multi-generational indigenous Americans, I don't really consider myself to be hyphenated at all. I just consider myself to be American. I have lineage, I have history, I have stories, I have all that stuff. But that's a book on a shelf. That's fine, but I'm not hyphenated. I'm just an indigenous American.
Sure.
Elon's got a message for us.
Sure. There
There
are a lot of negative things in the world. There's a lot of
terrible things that are happening all over the world, all the time. There are lots of problems that need to get solved. It's lots of things, things that are miserable that get you down. But life cannot just be about solving one miserable problem after another. That can't be the only thing. There need to be things that inspire you and make you glad to wake up in the morning and be a part of humanity. That's why we did this. This guy called Socialism, one of the early Russian rocket scientists, the great saying, Earth is the cradle of humanity, but you cannot stay in the cradle forever. It's time to go forth, become a star-faring civilization. Be out there among the stars, expand the scope and scale of human consciousness. I find that incredibly exciting. That makes me glad to be alive. I hope you all feel the same way. I like that. We need more positive messages like that, and just do the best we can with that as the mindset. Instead of getting so wrapped up in this issue, that story, this thing, the mindset of that, of aspiring to that type of thing, that's the recalibration we need. David Harris Jr. posted this, so I can only assume this is a legitimate Charlie Kirk meme on the day that his assassination trial, because let's face it, that was a future United States president that was assassinated right in front of us, live during the show, mind you. You see Charlie on our intro for the New American Media. I tell the story often, very, very proudly. He's a very popular guy, hard to get an interview with. So we tracked him down on his walk from leaving the restroom to immediately entering a massive ballroom and going right up on stage. He had 0 seconds to spare, so he granted a walk and talk 20-second answer to a question. 0 seconds to spare, so he gave me 20 seconds in a soundbite. Famous for saying never turn down any interview ever. Yeah, that guy was probably a future U.S. president. We can't understate how big of a loss this is, and the trial's happening. Is it clear cut? Was it? Tell me in chat, who killed Charlie Kirk? WKCK. Type WKCK. Who offed Charlie Kirk? WKCK. And tell me who did it. Was this Tyler Robinson or someone else? And if it's someone else, let me know. Mark, what is that from? You brought a gun to space? I don't remember what that's from. But Charlie Kirk once posted on 2020, if you cancel your 4th of July plans just because a Democrat tyrant told you to, you're missing the entire point of Independence Day. Great post. And look at this. Wait a minute. My show says Happy 20th, America? Ha! Well, that's unfortunate. Oh, good grief. Well, let's go ahead and change that right away, shall we? Just now noticing that. Why didn't somebody tell me? Okay, I'm going to change it on YouTube and on Rumble. And by the way, you might have told me in chat, but I got a lot of stories to fly through. Including that one. Let me get to it in a second. But yeah, the red card. In effect, I pulled the Uno card. Uno card. David says, I have no idea who took out Charlie Kirk, but in my opinion, it's not the guy who's on trial. David agrees. I concur. How could it possibly be? Mark wonders if there's some sort of Israeli connection. We'll see. Let's take a look at this trial. I sort of don't have an opinion on it. I mean, it appears to me that lapel pin explodes from here to here. On the heels of exploding pagers. Look at this. Look how popular we are. Look at how great we are. We're rigging devices to explode. Apparently the gun they say was used was like a rhinoceros round. Punch a hole through a concrete wall or something. I don't know. I'm going to pay closer attention to this trial than I have to all the stuff in between. I hear everybody pointing fingers, and I just don't know. No, not the microphone. Yeah, the microphone. Yes, the lapel. Sorry, I said lapel pin. I meant the pinned microphone. And look, the thing that I watched that shows like a kinetic burst of energy change from the video, like uploaded through some resolution, and it shows like this gets whatever color that is, and then the ripple of the shirt that it was all here and there, and then it started here. I don't know. See the guy adjusting something on his arm. Oh, he touched his ear. Oh, he did this. Oh, he did that. No, it was that guy. And then he disassembled his rifle. Then he reassembled his rifle. Then he shot. Then he disassembled his rifle. Then he put it down his leg. And then he disassembled it. Then he assembled it. Then he disassembled it. Then he had chicken. No, he didn't. And you're like, okay, I don't know. JFK was taken out, and we should take that all personally. They made attempts on Trump and Butler and on the golf course. We should take that personally. Made attempts on George Bush Sr. We should take that personally. They made attempts on Reagan. We should take that personally. George Washington's early career was marked when he was with the British. He essentially, he's often credited as being the person that started the French Indian War, or the 7 Years' War. There was a group of emissaries delivering correspondence, like treaty negotiator types. And Washington's side allegedly said that they were spies. They were a spy troop, and they slaughtered a bunch of them. And essentially kicked off the war between France, the Indians, English. Things got messy. Things are always messy. Leah says there's a big cover up on Charlie Kirk. Who had the exploding pagers? Yeah, that was, wow, yeah. That was Iranian officials. David says everything about the whole situation is suspicious. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, Baligan, he's in. I'm excited to watch it at 8 o'clock. Maybe go out. Maybe go to your local sports bar. When's the last time you're going to see a whole room of people rooting on the same team? That could be a lot of fun. Maybe that's something we should all do. Just to experience that. That could be fun. Not to go get drunk or get overboard and just be ridiculous, but just like soak up some camaraderie, connect with a neighbor, meet somebody you've never, talk to a server, a waiter, a waitress, a bartender, a manager, somebody at the bar. Remember who you are, Americans. We were founded by going into the pubs and talking to people and We're united in one game today, and it's kind of cool. And it's single elimination. One, you're done. It's like the Super Bowl. May the last team standing get it done. And that guy's back on the field because he played the Uno card. And I think that's... Here's the point I want to make about the World Cup. Based on the information I've gathered, that this should have never happened. This red card shouldn't have been called, and that's why it wasn't on the field. This isn't tipping the scales of justice to reach a favorable outcome. This is correcting something that shouldn't have been. If you can go to video replay to correct something that you thought should have happened on the field, surely the advisory board can look at what you did with that red card from the video booth and then correct that. It's not just, oh, you got a foul and then you end up in foul trouble and it changed the way we had to, officiate the rest of the game, and you had free throws in basketball, and now every subsequent foul was a penalty, and you're shooting free throws, and it just changed the whole game because of that bad call. No, that's not what we're talking about. And it's not just that we had to survive down a member for half of that game, our best player for half of that game, which we did, and even scored another goal during it. It shouldn't have happened. And instead of being aggressively, unnecessarily punitive at this point, because there were a lot of calls to look into the history of the official who made that call. There had been previous claims of game fixing and corruption, theft and bribery and undue influence, working with the bettors. You shave a little here, you nudge a little there, and you can get a lot of outcomes. It's what Great Britain's trying to do with the internet, change the algorithms so you're not allowed to hear what's actually happening because it goes against the narrative that everything's fine. Everything is not fine. Your country's being invaded along with your whole continent, all of Europe. And I don't think anybody anywhere asked for that. But you have abusive leaders holding temporary positions of power over them, forgetting that you can quickly say, we asked you for years to stop doing what you're doing. You no longer represent us. That's what the American Revolution was about. The consent of the governed is everything. If you're just trying to be a tyrant, man, good luck. Kick your pit bull a few too many times and see what happens. Because that pit bull isn't yours. That pit bull's hanging out with you until it decides it's not. That is a mutual privilege situation. You treat me right, I'll treat you right. But if you're coming at me with some of that bullshit, you better be aware that this rattlesnake has a tail. And that's not a threat in any more regard than we should be able to say that. That's no more of a threat than common sense. I'm sorry, you want an endless train of abuses against me and want me to constantly be happy about this, willingly go along with you for this? When all I must do is say, no. No. That's it. And if you want to make this weird, you can make this weird. But the answer is no. We no longer have a chain that binds us. That's the story of this revolution. And that chain of being suspended for the following game no longer binds Balogun. And the U.S. is back on par with where they pretty much should have been the whole time. And lucky we got past that in the first place. Damani Felder says, crazy that this is considered controversial. But I don't think people born in other countries who hate the United States should be elected to public office here in America anywhere ever. Crazy that this is considered controversial, but I don't think people born in other countries who hate the United States should be elected to public office here in America anywhere, ever. Tell me in chat, do you agree or disagree with that? All right, let's keep it rolling. Fireworks in a lightning storm didn't disappoint. Check this out from the F Jerry account.
Man, you see? Yeah, you see up there, honey? We're getting really close now.
Dude, wait for it. One more time.
Man, you see?
Here it is.
You see up there, honey? We're getting really close now.
The European mind simply cannot comprehend.
Man, you see? Yeah, you see up there, honey? We're getting really close now.
Here it is. That is awesome. Oh, great job. Camera guy button. Let's give some credit to that videographer. That was well done. Might have been a girl. We'll see.
First,
and some people are obviously taking the FIFA opportunity to look at Trump and be like, oh, he's a dictator. He has undue influence with the commissioner, the head of football, as Shane Gillis says, how he was introduced at a Trump event, or it was a Super Bowl or something. This guy, he's president of football, and he was gone. Trump was just gone. People are thinking this is how it went down with Trump on the phone, master negotiator.
first, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
I need to watch this again. This is so funny.
Now, I don't know what kind of pan-Pacific bullshit power play you're trying to pull here, but Asia Jack is my territory. So whatever you're thinking, you better...
Yeah. FIFA is my territory. Whatever you're thinking, I don't know what kind of play you're going for, but it's not going to happen. This is so perfect.
think again, otherwise I'm going to have to head down there, and I will rain down on a godly fucking firestorm upon you.
It keeps going. I don't want the copyright strike, but go watch it. Was it this is the third Austin Powers, right? So good. Tom Hanks. I'm sorry, Tom Cruise. You barely even recognize him. Super huge forearms. Matthew McConaughey in the background. So good. All right. Let's go to our X account. Thank you, everybody, for your continued support of the New American Media. We definitely appreciate that. Please consider becoming a monthly sponsor on Patreon or Rumble or YouTube. You just set it and forget it, as little as $5 a month. Just be like, I have a good time with this show. I like this show. You know, I remember being a kid starting off. I remember selling lemonade at my own table as well. $1 a cup, I'd say. Show some gumption. Doggone it, I'm going to give that kid some money and get some lemonade. Maybe even give him a tip. I'm the kid with the lemonade. Trying to build something in this country against insurmountable odds. You think, yeah, in a lot of ways, the full force of the English military and the full force of the big tech Orwellian information industrial complex, fairly insurmountable odds to succeed. Similarly, unlikely. So yeah, it's fun to root for the underdog. And the United States has never gone further in soccer than they have if they get this win. I think it would match the furthest we've ever gone since 1930. That's insane. Let's win the thing. Well, you don't think you can really win it? I think we can win everything. You're damn right I do. You want me on that wall? You need me on that wall. Please consider becoming a monthly sponsor. Patreon, Rumble, and YouTube, or a one-time super chat, our Rumble rant tip on YouTube and Rumble, respectively. Toss a silver coin into the tip jar back there. Definitely appreciate it. You can shoot something over on Venmo or Cash App, as somebody did this weekend, and thank you so much. That definitely was noticed and appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, that's why we have all these different routes. Different things come at us. We just have tip jars out. Pass the collection plate at church. If you're feeling good, if you're feeling positive, if you think if you think that we are doing anything of value and maybe we've earned some of your support, throw something into our tip jar. We appreciate it. We don't charge you anything to be here, but someone charges me every month to be here. Got to pay the upkeep on the building, got to keep the lights on, liquor license. There's a lot going on in this bar. And we got to get the ASCAP BMI yearly subscription so we can play music on the jukebox and the televisions. And we got to, there's a lot to it. So please consider supporting your boy. Final place, PayPal, fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. They're all scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Now, maybe my favorite video. This is probably my favorite video. I had a visceral reaction. I cut the show off. The TNAM Daily Show today. We had a bit of a weather delay for a little bit there. I cut off the show when I was watching Mamdani and I started cursing at him and I started calling him out, and he was he's a predator. Mamdani the commie is a predator. And me watching our special Saturday episode, which was pretty cool because we don't normally do a Saturday episode. I felt compelled to pause it and say some stuff. Well, that happened on Saturday. I believe later in the day this came out. I didn't see it until that afternoon or evening, and I did a morning show. I know that much. That much I know. If this were out there, I hadn't seen an ounce of it. I don't know when it was released. But I did the Saturday show, and me watching, I'm like, man, I was getting fired up. And me watching it again, I'm getting fired up and angry at Mamdani. As we should all be, because they're predators. And the worst kind. They're trying to trick you. I mean, there's a Luciferian kind of like, hey, I got you, bro. No, first hit's on me. It's free. Here, try some crazy messed up drugs that'll ruin your life or take your life. And then buy it from me forever because I'm a demon that feasts upon your soul, you sucker. That's communism. That's socialism. That's Marxism. That's Leninism. That's Stalinism. It's all of those political ideologies based on greed and envy. What do you mean they're poor? They can't be greedy. Oh, yes, they can. And they can be infinitely lazy. And if there is some sort of system that a benevolent country wants to come up with to try to help people out, we need a system that's designed to ration them off of help and onto their own 2 feet. We have a cart. It's a wooden cart with 2 wheels. We are trying to go over the Appalachian Mountains and expand into the Western United States. We're trying to expand as a nation into outer space. We're in a covered Conestoga wagon. You can only say, I'm not feeling so right, boss. I'm going to need to lay down on there while the horses and other people pull this thing along. Then you got people that aren't even a part of your group, just jumping on. Under threat, under darkness of night, other people are jumping on while that wagon keeps going, and the burden gets heavier and heavier, and they're sinking into the mud while they're laying back and snoring, napping, relaxing. They're using you. They don't like you. They actually have a goal to remove you, target you, and destroy you. Make no mistake, that is exactly what their plan is. Do not ever forget the tyranny of the Joe Biden / Obama third term. So when I saw this video by Spencer Pratt, it hit me right in the feels. So I want you to check this one out. It's so well done. If you haven't seen this, buckle up, Buttercups. This is just the best.
We all had to sit and watch that vile commie mayor sit on the wrong side of our founding fathers' desk to try and lecture us about our own history. Notice how the communist always attacks your history. The communist must attack your history. Why? Because history is what anchors you. It's what makes us attached to something.
Uh-huh. I might have to keep pausing it here. I was going to let it play full through with the music. They attack your history, destroy things. They're not builders, they're destroyers. That's what they do. They don't want you to remember that we're great. It's been a long time probably since Reagan, where you felt like you had a real American cheerleader in office. Somebody like pumping us up, working, making us feel good about us.
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. History breeds an almost irrational attachment to things, an attachment that is more powerful than anyone can imagine. Erasing history is how you demoralize people, how you unmoor them and detach them from their society so you can take it from them and rewrite it in your image.
Take it and rewrite it in your image. We must seize our control. We must seize control of our schools. The children are being poisoned, and you need to root out the most radical teachers out there. Linda McMahon, you are behind the 8 ball. We need way more progress correcting pro-America teaching. And that's not to lie. It's not to necessarily sugarcoat, but you accept it, you address it, you move on, you don't dwell on it. You dwell on the positive attributes, the positive aim. There are so many people that have been broken and brainwashed by our schools. It's sad, but we can put that shit away.
Think of your country like a home. What makes your home special? It's not the marble countertops or the expensive furniture or the fancy appliances. It's the memories you have there. That backyard is where we got married. That living room rug is where our son took his first step. Hey, don't touch that. That was his first teddy bear. It doesn't matter how torn and tattered that thing is. You will never get rid of it. And you will fight anyone who tries to take it away. Why? Because you have history with it. You ever buy a new home? Remember those first few months? Even the first few years there, it doesn't feel like home. It could be a million times nicer than the crappy apartment you came from, but it doesn't feel like home for a long time.
It's about the memories. Agree completely. And if we're not giving the good memories to the kids, they're not going to feel any attachment to this place because it's all a long-term plan to conquer it.
Because you don't have history there. It's easy to knock down some walls, change the floor plan. If you have no memories to attach you to it, it's just wood and drywall. Who cares? Get rid of it. Memories make it a home.
Would you guys say it was Reagan was the last time you felt good about the country? That you felt like we had a real American cheerleader? It's got to be Reagan, right? I mean, moments post 9/11, everybody was together like, Oh, no, you did not. It sort of didn't last that long.
Even the bad ones. Hey, remember when Dad hit his head on the rafter in the attic and we spent all night in the ER? That's the avocado tree I fell out of and broke my first bone. Isn't it weird how even the bad memories make us cherish a place? It's not like we long for those bad times, but bad times are part of what makes us stronger, a part of what makes us who we are. How can you resent those memories without fundamentally resenting who you are? History is so important to humans that even bad memories anchor us to our home. And that's what the communist always starts with, the bad memories. Oh, we can get rid of that little story. We can knock down that statue. We can change the name of that street. That's a bad memory from our history.
Uh-huh. It is not benevolent. It is not benign. It is by design. It is malevolent. It is malevolently designed.
You don't want that memory hanging around. You're not a bigot, right? And slowly but surely, this wall comes down, then that wall gets sledgehammered. The rafter where dad hit his head, that's gone. The rub where your son took his first step, that's gone. The gash in the wood floor where you stomped the glass on your wedding ceremony, that's gone and replaced with shiny vinyl planks. And now you've got a brand new home with no memories.
There you go. The kids growing up, they don't remember the Reagan years. They didn't have the Reagan years. Best they had was a little bit of unity with Bush. Maybe they were a couple years old. Maybe they weren't around when it happened. You know how I spent my day? I spent it relaxing, and it was watching the American Revolution story. I think I might still go see Young Washington. Curious if you guys liked that movie. Yeah, they're coming after the kids. Spencer Pratt, man, they tried to steal this election from him in Los Angeles. Let's see what the investigation reveals. Seems like nothing ever happens, but there's too much. Stuff has to happen this term. Stuff has to happen. And I believe they're organizing some of their assets to Georgia. Gavin Newsom has had a mole on the inside of his organization since 2024. Who knows what type of fraud, corruption we're about to find? I mean, but this needs to be the summer of consequences for Fauci, for Newsom, for the people in Fulton County, Maricopa County, Minneapolis, Los Angeles. Got to defend this nation.
Now what? Do you care what they do with it? Do you care what color they paint the walls? Nah. Do whatever you want. I don't care. I have no attachment to it. I have no memories with that.
No attachment to this country for the kids, except they should feel guilt and shame for things they didn't do to people that aren't in that room.
You love your home because of the memories you have there. And that's why the communist always must destroy your memories, destroy your history. If the communist wishes to take your home, he must first destroy your memory of it so he can erase your attachment to it.
And by the way, remember how I told you how Hollywood changing their stories, the Odyssey? No, there's a checklist now. You have to have anti-American content. You have to talk bad about capitalism. No white people, no men, no straight people. You got this check mark. Change history. The woke AI we're making, like Black George Washington and, just messing with history. And if things aren't recorded and written down in books are probably the most underrated and physical media. Books and physical media are probably the most important item of most value right now. The day that a story can be changed instantly and you don't remember how we got there and the whole scope of the story, it's just you change narrative and you're instantly, nope, this is what the UK says. From now on, YouTube is only going to give you this agenda. Reality doesn't exist. Country doesn't exist. And if everything's just one big pile of slop. Here, let's just make a sticky paste with your let's say cockroach, with your oh my gosh, I've had it 3 different times. Grasshopper. As I was getting ready to say it, the word went, it like fluttered off like a grasshopper and landed again. Just make a slimy little paste out of your grasshopper powder and kind of gnaw on the end of a popsicle stick over there in the corner in your styrofoam bowl. While we, the elites, look, we're going to sit at the big boy table at Thanksgiving. Enjoy your paste. And the people that are siding with the commies, the Marxists, the globalists, they're doing it out of laziness, envy, and greed. And they're doing it because they've been indoctrinated to believe so many things that are simply incorrect. Some people can be reached and some people can't. I don't know how you determine that. But you need to take control. Just like Department of Justice had to go through and eliminate Dan Bongino, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, Bill Pulte. Go down the laundry list. You have to remove the bad actors, and we're not doing that in our schools. We have so many leftist radicals in our schooling system that need to be purged. People that are pushing this commie, globalist, anti-American crap, this Marxist divisive agenda to try to bring this country down. We've had it too good for too long. We stole it, and someone else deserves it. Well, let me guess who? You? Yeah, the answer is always they. Okay, so they know better, and they want all the things, and they're going to come take it from you. That sounds like a criminal activity to me. Why don't you stay in your lane and do the best that you can? If you're coming after me, well, I guess you just started something, didn't you? You? And the commies are here. They're taking their masks off in that first Trump administration, the first 2016 cycle. I mean, we covered it. Blake went to Philadelphia for the DNC, saw James O'Keefe and Laura Loomer. I went with Blake to the Republican convention in 2016. We were in the House when President Trump accepted his nomination at Gund Arena in Cleveland, Ohio, right next to the baseball diamond. We recorded a video that ended up on the front page of, what was that called? Drudge Report, back when Drudge Report was something worth doing. An altercation between Joel Pollack from that intro to the TNAM Daily Show. He was a senior editor at Breitbart. He writes for somebody now, California Post or something. I'm not certain where he's at. He got into an altercation with a Daily Show producer. We got physical with him, trying to strong arm him and nudge him and push him with his elbow, shoulder. And you had to tell him and warn him, don't you touch me. I can be wherever I want. This is public space. No, you're not going to let our people come out of our event so that you can trap them, ask them open-ended questions, get them to say something stupid, edit it, and make our movement look bad. I'm not letting you do it. And I'm going to stand here and I'm going to record you doing it and have the full context of the video so that you can't slander and harass these people at my event. No, you're not going to nudge me out of this private space. Well, it's a college campus. You can't be here. We have a permit. It's a public spot. I can be wherever the hell I want. Thank you very much. I said in that moment and throughout the course of that convention, the Democrats took their mask off. Now, we saw it, kind of, but now they've taken the other mask off. Now they're full-blown commie, Marxist, Islamic supremacist, globalist, Leninist, Stalinist, communist, socialist, whatever you want to call it. It's this but not that. No, it's democratic socialism. No, it's not a pile of shit. It's a steaming pile of democratic shit. Their masks are off now. They had a mask under the mask. It was like a double Scooby-Doo. Oh, no, it's Mr. Jones. But wait a minute. If that's Mr. Jones, aha, he had another mask. I knew it couldn't be Mr. Jones. Oh, thanks, kids. They are full-blown commie now. Back to Spencer. If you don't listen to Commie Mom Donnie and trying to bash this country, if it doesn't piss you off a little bit, I don't even know what you're doing.
And demoralize you. Mao destroyed what he called the four olds: old ideas, old culture, old customs, and old habits. If you call them olds, it makes them sound bad. You don't want that old thing. Get rid of it. But it is fundamentally human nature to cherish your history. We crave learning about our history, where we came from, who our ancestors were. That's human. But communism is an evil, anti-human religion, so it must destroy what makes us human.
Communism is an evil, anti-human religion. Just peel the layers of the onion back. You'll get there. Maybe it looks like, oh, I get free shit on day one. What would you say to your buddy the fish who looks at you and goes, hey, man, you know what I'm thinking? See that over there? That looks like a juicy worm floating there on that thing that looks like the letter J. That looks like a juicy worm right over there. I'll go get a bite. Nah, man. I did that once. You did that once? Uh-huh. Yep. Back in 14. I thought that same thing and went and took a bite, and brother, it takes you on a ride, and it is bad. I know a lot of people have taken that ride and not come back. Thank you very much. Communism, socialism, Marxism, do not bite the worm on the hook. It's a worm. It's an earworm. It's a brain worm. It starts boring into your skull. You know, there's some people out there that make a lot of jokes at my expense because I had worms in the brain. But that moment, it did help fundamentally transform and shape who I am with health and human services today. Yeah, communism, socialism, Marxism, that is the worm on the hook.
The communist destroys your history so he can take your home and rebuild it in his image. That's why it's your patriotic duty to celebrate today unashamed. It's okay to love America. Not only is it okay to love America, it's necessary to love America. We are the only bulwark against tyranny on this earth. When Europe descends into madness time and time again, it's our sons who cross the oceans to fight and die for freedom and human dignity. We don't let evil people destroy our history and rewrite it in their image. This is Independence Day. It's not just a number on the calendar. Don't say Happy 4th. That's commie gobbledygook.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
We say Independence Day. Today we celebrate the men who reclaimed a beautiful slice of this earth and claimed it for God, for the values of freedom and rugged independence. Our history is messy. Our history is violent. Fuck yeah, it is. And that's why we love it. We aren't cowards. We don't turn our backs on the painful memories because because they make us who we are. Be proud of our country, damn it. America is the birthplace of every great invention of the last 250 years. Like literally everything. Airplanes, spaceships, internet, telephones. As a country, we are batting 1,000. Not only is it a miracle that this radical experiment in self-governance even survived past 1776, but we are the champions of the world. Be proud of that. Be proud of your history. Millions of your ancestors fought and died to preserve it. Kami Mamdani's ancestors never bled for this country. He has no history here, so he has no attachment to our home. He has no place to rewrite our history and lecture us about what our country stands for. So celebrate today. Show some American pride. Honor your history. Raise your flag. Raise a finger and say, fuck you, communists. This is our home, and you can't have it. Today we celebrate our Independence Day. God bless America.
Dude.
So good.
How good was that?
I wanted that part to finish. I love that. Spencer Pratt, bravo. And bravo to everybody here in the bar, hanging out. I was working in the back a little bit, working in the office. Thank you all for being here. Smash the thumbs up button, hit like, hit subscribe, and buckle up, buttercups. The TNAM Daily Show starts now.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brian Engelman, and welcome to the fake news. I think Norm Macdonald coined that term. Sounds like a bunch of commie gobbledygook. I love that they did that little cutaway. People. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go ahead and pull up some stories, shall we? Let's see what... Hey, we got some new followers on Instagram. We are 21 followers away from being able to stream live. 21 followers away from being able to stream live. Let's go ahead and buzz through our Instagram feed, shall we? Yes, we shall. Oh, by the way, if you like what we're doing, top of the hour ad read, please consider signing up on Patreon, Rumble, and YouTube. Thank you to everybody who has. Thank you to everybody who will. You can drop a one-time. There you go. You can throw some silver coins into the tip jar. Make them go cling, 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 went the trolley. Ding, 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 went the bell. Rumble, rant, and super chat. Or you could drop a Venmo, a Cash App, or a PayPal. All scrolling at the bottom of the scrizzle. Oh, I can't play the music. But I am infinitely fascinated with Antarctica. Let's break this down. I got to mute it here. Follow the white rabbit. Okay, do you need another rabbit hole? Says whoever this is. Free Soul Sorrow. What or who did they find in Antarctica? Before he became the center of one of history's biggest conspiracies, Admiral Richard Byrd was one of the most fearless and well-respected explorers who ever lived. I learned about him on Ancient Aliens. 5 times he visited the South Pole, and what he found there has been the subject of controversy and debate for many years. In 1954, he gave an interview to CBS saying a place as big as the U.S., Antarctica, is still largely unexplored. He hints that it may have even been tropical at one point, and that there may be oil, uranium, and other minerals. He died 3 years later in 1957. 1 year after his death in 1958, NASA is created. Tell me in chat. We went to the moon. Yes or no? We went to the moon? Do you agree or disagree? Type it into chat, would you? The following year after that, in 1959, the Antarctica Treaty is signed by a dozen countries, all agreeing to protect America. Geez, I said America. They all agreed to protect Antarctica. Was this all coincidence or a powerful group wanting to conceal what was found? Follow the white rabbit. Red Devil says Oliver Tree died in a helicopter crash about 2 weeks after releasing an Antarctica documentary. Huh. Well, what do you know about that? Go down that rabbit hole. It's wild. I may have showed you this before, but this is so super cool. I'm not done celebrating America's birthday yet. Are you? I'm not. If you notice the thumbnail for today's show, it's still all of the fireworks. Had a new image made. The Grok image creation is getting better, and I'm here for it. But check this story out. This is where I'm from, Ohio. Geez, right around here somewhere, actually. On the map. Let me see if it crosses where I was.
Flying a Cessna 182 Skylane RG spent 5 to 6 hours meticulously drawing a giant USA 250 inside of the outline of the entire United States of America up near the Great Lakes near Ohio. He did this on the 3rd of July of 2020.
Yeah, I grew up. Where's 71? Here's 71. Past Canton, past Akron. Right. I grew up right around here somewhere.
26 in commemoration of America's 250th anniversary, or
it doesn't look like it's
semi-quincentennial. Currently, the plane, which was built in 1981, was a Cessna R182 Skylane RG, which is a single-engine piston plane capable of cruising around.
Oh yeah, it might have flown over exactly where I grew up, right by 71, right here. I guess that's 71 there.
170 knots. He departed from Norwalk, Huron County Airport around 6 a.m. Eastern Standard on July 3rd and flew 5 to 6 hours to draw this message in the air, and it was tracked by Flight Radar 22, who put it out all over their social media because, honestly, that's just freaking cool. He flew at roughly 10,000 feet altitude for smooth conditions, and he had a pre-planned GPS flight path executed in phases to draw out the 250 USA and then the entire United States outline. Apparently, this guy was pushing it right to the limit, though, because the plane carries approximately 85 gallons of fuel, and it burns about 11 to 14 gallons per hour. But by the time the guy finished, he was able to land around lunchtime and probably get some good chow afterwards. As you can imagine, this creative display went pretty viral, especially among aviation enthusiasts. And honestly, what a freaking cool idea. So a pilot flying a Cessna 182 Skylane RG spent...
I love it. Hashtag America. So cool. Not sure if you knew that story, but that's... I'd like to know who that was. I want to follow up on this story. I want to know who that guy was. Or girl. Could have been a girl. Kenneth agrees we met at noon. No, did we go to the moon? You got to go with some Q-tips. Agree to disagree, says Mark. Responding to Marion, yes, we went to the moon. At least I think we did. Trash Panda Texas. Yep, we went. I still have a hunk of that cheese. Joker Poker. Nobody has ever been to the moon. I think there are bases there. Trash Panda. I've been known for giving a moon. Oh, hey. Maybe on yesterday's show, I showed you. But apparently that lady that was surrounded by all those feds in that fake group, what is it called? Patriot Front? That one lady on the subway surrounded by white supremacists or something. Feds. She dropped her pants and I don't know what she was doing, dancing or something. She got a ticket for public indecency. And then I saw somewhere that maybe it was part of like a commercial or some acting thing. I don't know. David says, no, I don't think so. I don't think we've been to the moon. Just ask the moon people, says Trash Panda. Have you ever been to Earth? Yeah, there you go. Moon rock for sale. Half price. 1 million. Well, with the inflation we have, that'll be like buying a cup of coffee. Trash Panda's going to write a check for that one. Joker Poker. Operation Fishbowl. Operation Dominic. Stanley Kubrick awaits. I'm sorry, he admits he shot the moon landing. Walt Disney paid for it. Werner von Braun gave his Psalm 19:1 on it. Dark Side of the Moon. Tell me, have you ever played Dark Side of the Moon after, I think, the second lion roar from MGM on, what was that? That was Wizard of Oz. Tell me if you did that. Press play on Dark Side of the Moon and the lyrics match up. That's pretty fun.
So now.
Underrated content here. I love this story because it's so devious.
Now that we know that
Here we go.
So now that we know that MK Ultra is real, do you think it's possible they could deploy that technology or something very similar through social media channels? Do you think it could be happening right now to millions of people all at once?
Facebook ran an experiment on 689,000 people and didn't tell a single one of them. Those weren't volunteers. Nobody signed up. They were literally just on the app, scrolling, liking their cousin's dumb vacation photos, and the whole time, a team of data scientists was reaching into their feeds and turning a dial, feeding some of them sadness and feeding others joy. And this wasn't to sell them stuff. It was just to see if they could change what those people felt without ever talking to them. And they could. They called it emotional contagion.
And how much of the lying legacy media relies on this exact thing? All of it.
And they even published it. Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences in 2014. This isn't some random file that got leaked. It's a peer-reviewed paper where they basically brag about it. And it worked. Emotions got manipulated to extremes, with no conversations and no contact. Just the machine quietly deciding what a few 100,000 people were gonna feel that day. You'd think somebody catches this.
Did they catch it?
Cornell's name was on the study. Every university has a board, an IRB, and the entire job of that board is to stop this exact thing from happening. You don't get to run experiments on human beings without them knowing. That's the one rule. Cornell's board later admitted they never looked at it at all. In Facebook's defense, you agreed to this. It was in the terms of service. The terms of service said nothing about psychological research. Not a word. They just decided agree to use the app also meant agree to be experimented on. And here's the part that should really mess with you. In 1977, a Senate committee drags the CIA into a room over MK Ultra.
Yeah. They're trying to do it again now and release that info. They don't want that info out because they might still be doing it.
Program built to screw with the minds of American citizens without their consent. It gets defunded, files are destroyed, at least most of them, and we all get handed this promise. Never again. Never again does anybody run mind control experiments on the public in the dark. That promise did not last long. And in this instance that happened to make it into the public awareness, nobody had to break in. Nobody hid anywhere. They wrote it up and put it in a journal and stuck a university's name on the front page. So no, the question was never, did they do it? They told us they did it. The question is, how the hell is this still legal now? And why almost none of us even flinched?
So now that we know the MK...
Yep. You're being manipulated by your media, but not here at the New American Media. Nobody's paying me to do anything. I'm just trying to figure out what's happening, just like you. Just like you and me. All right, Officer Lou tells us Officer Chris Bagley from the Charlie Kirk assassination. He says his body cam battery died while he was on the roof immediately after Charlie Kirk was shot. Oh, really?
While you were on the roof,
Really?
did you encounter any spent casings?
As a matter of fact, no. That's why when I saw the prone position where a person would be laying down as a sniper, being around guns and snipers all the time, I was looking for a spent shell casing. I couldn't see one. I was looking over the edge, looking all over the place, making sure the gravel wasn't disturbed, and I couldn't find a shell casing at that moment.
And that would be, the reason you would be looking for that was because some types of guns, when they shoot, eject a casing automatically, right? Some
Yes.
do, some don't.
Yes.
All right. And then you also didn't find any unshot bullets.
No.
Okay. Are you aware of there being a bullet found on another roof?
I'm not aware.
Vicinity? Were you aware of another bullet being found on the scene, not on the roof of the Losi building?
No.
All right, your body cam footage that I reviewed appears to end while you're still on the roof. Do you know why that is?
I think the battery went dead. It was just right at that moment.
Okay. And do you know, did you ever turn it back on that day or go get it, I don't know, what do you have to do, charge it or stick a new battery in it? I don't even know.
Usually dock it, but no, I didn't go back. It was too chaotic running around.
So that 27-minute and 35-second body cam that starts when you're at the Hall of Flags and ends while you're still on the roof, but haven't put the crime tape up yet, that's the only body cam you have that day?
Yes.
Great.
While you were on the roof, did you encounter any spent casings?
As a matter of fact, no, that's...
So, I mean, that right there. Come on. That same lame alibi excuse. Oh, my battery died. Sure it did. Leading report says medical examiner's report presented at Tyler Robinson's preliminary hearing confirms that Charlie Kirk's cause of death was a wound to the neck from a round, despite wacky conspiracies suggesting otherwise. I heard today Candace is on a 2-week break. Is that true? Mark calls BS on that camera going out, as you should. Never believe when, oh, my battery died at that exact moment where we needed to know info. That feels clear as mud, doesn't it? All right. Let me show you this. TNAM preparedness. The Boxin Pedos account. 7-year-old yells from behind the door. Deputy Antonio Gonzalez did exactly that and saved this kid's life. When was this from?
Hey, Sheriff's Office, make yourself known. Sheriff's Office, make yourself known. Send the child out, please.
Please.
Bring the child out of the room. Drop the knife and bring the child out of the room.
Yeah, I appreciate cops because they got to do this stuff.
Drop the knife. Bring the child out of the room.
Did you hear the kid? He yells, kick down the door.
Let me see your hands right now. Let me see your hands.
You are going to get
Let
shot.
me see your hands right now. Let me see your hands right now. Let me see your hands right now. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Drop the knife. Drop it.
Bravo.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Put some fire emojis in chat. Thank you to that officer. Saving that kid from God knows what. 27-year-old man assaulted his adult sister, then barricaded himself in the bedroom with his 7-year-old brother. Kid crying for help. That was good work right there. Thank you. So Team USA got bounced from the World Cup. Tough loss, 4-1. But Gentry Geevers says, not so fast, Belgium. Team USA still has a week to count in all... Hang on. Team USA still has a week to count all the mail-in goals. You know, once you lose, you keep counting until you get the win. So good. More people found alive in Venezuela after 11 days, they say.
Jala la niña. Y la niña, no puede sacar la niña tampoco. Vamos, fuerza, papito.
Vamos, mi pana, vamos.
Pues buena. Ya, no te puedes mover, papi, no puedes mover. De la mitad para arriba. Ya, cálmate un momento, ya. No puedes mover, no puedes hacer. Estás muy depresionado, no sabemos cómo está abajo.
Alexander spent 11 days digging through with bare hands to recover his 12-year-old daughter's body. Man.
Sucedió eso, llegué aproximadamente a las 7 de la noche. El edificio estaba totalmente colapsado y en llamas. Mi papá se subió a buscar a mi hermano y escuchamos los gritos de auxilio.
We heard cries for help and we tried.
Pero tenía una columna muy pesada en sus piernas. Y por eso no lo pudimos sacar. El humo lo asfixió y él murió luego de unas horas esperando la ayuda de los rescatistas, pero nunca llegaron.
Seguimos sumando ya 30 países. 30.
Growing anger at the government over their response to the twin quakes. God bless these people in these rescue efforts, man. That is tough. They're beginning to leave now. Exhausted. They've got to be exhausted. They need help. They need a lot of help. 30,000 people still believed to be missing. Oh, man. Whew. Sunny Hostin is a lunatic. How did she celebrate Independence Day?
That there are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community and I suddenly feel unsafe.
You have brain damage.
That there are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community and I suddenly feel unsafe. That there are times.
She feels unsafe. Bobby Kennedy needs to be doing more for the public health of Trump derangement syndrome, America derangement syndrome. If you hate this country so much, then leave, says the Blaze TV.
That there are times.
Whoever runs the Miriam.
Check out this dictionary post. This is good.
Whoever runs the Merriam-Webster official X account deserves to get a raise and to be promoted ahead of peers, because at 3:55 p.m. Eastern Standard on July 3rd of 2026, they posted one of the most iconic things I think I've ever read in regards to United States independence, when they said, quote, "Why is it canceled in the UK but canceled in the US," with two different spellings? Because we gave them that L in 1776. Dude, that is the most legendary thing you could have possibly said. Promote ahead of peers, give them a raise. I never thought I'd be sitting here commentating on some Merriam-Webster post, but here we are. You guys get 2 thumbs up. 2 of them. Whoever runs...
That's so funny, because we gave him that L.
Whoever runs the
it's hard.
All right, David Harris Jr. talking about Charlie Kirk's voice echoing louder now than it ever did.
It's hard to believe that it's been nearly a year since Charlie was taken from us. Charlie was a father, a husband, a man of God, and he was my friend. Charlie spent years on the front lines of America's political divide and spoke publicly about the very issue now at the very center of this investigation, political violence, warning where he believed that divide could lead.
It is open season for anybody associated with MAGA. They can't beat us, so they are trying to deploy the shock troops of the base of the Democrat Party to murder all of us. Not an exaggeration. They couldn't care less. They would delight and laugh if any one of us were to be murdered. We have a country to save, and we will defeat these savages that want us all dead, you included.
Wow. Well, the man accused of taking Charlie's life, he may have silenced him, but Charlie's voice echoes louder now than it ever did before. Friends, people are sharing his videos. They're looking him up online, and so many people want to know, who was Charlie Kirk? Charlie spent years sharing his views on political violence, on division, and on the future of America, and his message is getting out. His name, Charlie Kirk, was Google's #1 trending search in all of U.S. for all of 2025. Well, now, after today's hearing, the next chapter of this case rests with a judge who will decide whether the evidence is enough to send this case to trial. It's hard to believe that...
We shall see. Are you watching the trial? Anything standing out to you?
It's hard to believe...
Not going to let them...
All right, San Diego residents are refusing to take down American flags after the HOA demanded they do so, threatening $100 fines.
Not going to let them bully me with fines to take down the symbol of America.
No, flag isn't coming down. No, everybody had flags up, the whole community. But now the last 2 years, it's just slowly, one after another, everyone's flags have come down.
They revisit this again. If the policy stands, then I will be fined every month that my flag is up.
This flag represents freedom and sacrifice and blood that was shed for this country.
Cook says she's a direct descendant of revolutionaries. She wears a Daughters of the American Revolution tattoo. Her husband's father received a Purple Heart and Navy Cross for his sacrifice in World War II.
This is important, and people need to understand that they need to stand up for our country because there's too much at stake.
Residents say this debate with the HOA began 2 years ago. In part of an email explaining the policy in October of 2024, a board member identifies flying an American flag as essentially a political affiliative view.
I think that they don't like looking at my American flag.
The HOA board office was closed. When NBC7 called, the phone service did not include a voicemail option. In a more recent email to Cook, dated May 8, 2026, the Ambiance Owners Association wrote, "These restrictions are not meant as an inconvenience or an invasion of freedom,
Yes, they are.
but rather as a means of maintaining harmony, continuity, and property value."
No, you keep continuity and community by flying one flag. One flag is allowed, the American flag. That's it. Fix it.
Dave is doubling down. He's had a flag in the front of his home for 35 years. Instead of taking it down, he added a second in his backyard to this palm tree.
They're trying to tell me that the only way we could have one is not in the front or the side of the common property, but I can in my backyard.
Like Cook, Collins was urged to attend Tuesday's board meeting to make his case for displaying the American flag or face a $100 fine.
For 35 years, that flag has been on that corner.
I should not have to argue about my freedoms to display the symbol of freedom in America.
No matter the outcome of the board meeting showdown, Cook says you'll see her flag waving over this 4th of July holiday.
I'm not going to let them.
And residents retained an attorney defending themselves against that Ambiance Owners Association. Bravo. Good for them. I would
I'm not
do the
going to
same
let
thing.
them bully.
Scott Pressler says the American people deserve to know what's happening in the Senate after massive calculated cover-up of air quote President Biden's cognitive decline. We expect transparency and accountability from our government. It's especially important when legislation may come down to one vote. What is going on with Mitch? All right, Godfather of Chaos says day one of Tyler Robinson's preliminary hearing. Here's what stuck out. Officer Bagley's body cam had a dead battery at the precise time he found the screwdriver on the rooftop. Officer Bagley found a gun holster in the grass and never put it into evidence, nor did he mention it to anyone. Super, if you ask me. And sometimes people do. Let's switch over to X. Here's our Patreon link pinned at the top. If you guys want to support your boy, you can sign up for as little as $5 a month and say, I appreciate a little bit of honesty coming from the media, even if it is the new American media, because the old American media has failed you. All right, Liz Wheeler, she has thoughts. Let's break them down here. There we are. Tyler Robinson on video on campus 4 times. So he was there. Medical examiner report says cause of death was a gunshot wound to the neck, so not an exploding microphone from Israel. TPUSA turned over HD video footage from their cameras of the shooting to law enforcement. So the videographer did not steal the footage to hide some secret reality about the murder. The lead investigator testified that their big tip came when a person, Tyler Robinson, turned himself in to Washington County Police. So he did turn himself in. Access to the rooftop is easy. A staircase open to the public and a small guardrail that can be hopped over to gain entry to the gravel rooftop. So no Spider-Man ability necessary to get onto the roof. Defense actually does have access to the state's discovery. They filed 0 motions to compel because they're satisfied with state cooperation on this. So no Fed conspiracy to deny defense exculpatory evidence. No bullet casing on the roof, so what? Bolt-action rifles don't auto-reject casings if only one shot is fired. The casing was found inside the rifle with 3 other unfired rounds, so not a setup framing Tyler Robinson's rifle. Tyler Robinson was laughing in court, so not distraught about false allegations. What's the defense here? A mass conspiracy of Israel, Egypt, France, the U.S. military, Charlie's former secretary, Erica Kirk, Cabot Phillips, Kash Patel, FBI, ATF, Utah police, the judge, and TPUSA all in on the plot together, only without a shred of evidence implicating any of them. If you believe that, you need to set down your phone, immediately go to confession, pray in humility for wisdom and discernment, and start reading a rigorous curriculum of the classics to train your mind to think rather than be swayed by cultish emotional groupthink. I say this with love because otherwise you have surrendered the mind and soul to God, gifted to you by the great deceiver. What say you? Do you agree with Liz on that? She's following it closely, and that is her take. Graham Plattner refusing to drop out of the Senate race unless he gets to name his successor, according to Politics and Poll Tracker. Source familiar with the campaign discussions said Plattner, his campaign, and political strategist Morris Katz are deliberating about the main Democrat dropping out, but only if his replacement has the same views that he holds. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Says Phil Labonte. Mitch McConnell hasn't been seen in a while, so here's John Thune checking on Gasket. Uh-oh. Not the Undertaker, it's Mitch McConnell. John Thune. Mitch, we need you to come back. You got to vote against the Save America Act. Too soon. Mark Simone asks, what kind of person moves to a new country and after just 8 years as a citizen gets elected mayor of its largest city at the young age of 34 and then isn't extremely grateful to his new country and singing its praises on the holiday of its founding? This asshole. This is kind of interesting. Jedediah Bila said this. You've all seen videos of people working out at the gym dressed like strippers, and they're recording themselves, and they want to record people that are like, taking a look at it. Well, if you don't want people looking at it, then don't dress like that.
It's so funny. You go into like women's only gyms and everyone's like, it looks like they're in like overcoats. Like they're not dressed the same at all. It's totally different because they're not there to impress. It's a totally different vibe, and it's usually dirt cheap and empty for many reasons, mostly because no one wants to go.
No one wants to go. Quick hit on that one, but it's interesting. Let's dig into Graham Plattner.
To that comment about the sort of post-Me Too era and the debate that sort of happened in the Democratic Party after this, the series of allegations around Graham Plattner, part of, I think, what made it complicated for some Democrats to fully believe the woman who was at the center of the last round was that she was associated with right-wing politics. But this woman, I want to read part of what's out here. One of the reasons, she says to Politico, I didn't come forward sooner was the huge moral conflict that I had between supporting his politics. So she is saying, I actually agree with Graham Plattner, his positions, his politics. She's clearly more on the left, but not supporting him as a person. I just want the truth out there. I just want people to have a whole scope of who he is as a person.
Yep. Stephen Miller says, believe some women with my agreeable politics. The rest are just lying whores. Funny how that Me Too movement is very selective. Mays put this out and says, careful, this site is a cesspool. Twitter X. They all learned that word right after Elon purchased it. It's always funny when some of the most prolific liars warn people about.
Elon Musk has turned X, formerly known as Twitter, into a cesspool.
Twitter X is just such a cesspool now.
But it's also a cesspool. Everything that goes on, it's a circus cesspool. Twitter right now is a cesspool.
Twitter is a cesspool, or X, I guess it's called now.
Cesspool of just bad information, lies, hate speech.
Twitter has become
X, I guess it's called now.
A deeper, darker cesspool of
darker
disinformation and chaos.
Has now really become a cesspool of mis and disinformation.
The Twitter sphere as it is has really gone berserk lately. It's got to become almost a cesspool of misinformation.
Elon Musk.
Yeah. Adam Carolla posted that and said, this is always funny. Looks like a lot of someone's got the talking points memo. They are bots. 555, make a wish. Amen. All right, I just did. Thanks, Kenneth. All right. This is key food owner Ruben Luna says that Zohran Mamdani's communist grocery stores would put them all out of business. Of course.
This is key food owner Ruben Luna on his concerns over these government-run stores. Listen.
We're going to be suffering. We're going to disappear. We're going to lay off a lot of people. Where those people are going to get jobs. So they're going to affect not only the supermarket, but those little vendors in the street. There's already too many stores in the neighborhood. And how can you compete against the government?
Yeah. They don't have to pay overhead on the buildings, so everything's cheaper. You're going to run the other stores out of business, aka communism.
Or the mayor. There's no way we can do it.
Yep. Careful what you vote for. Mark Hemingway talking about the Trump accounts. What the Trump accounts need is a way to pay into each kid's Trump account easily and directly. If a neighbor kid mows my lawn, I should be able to pay into his Trump account. Let godparents and grandparents deposit directly on birthdays without going through the parents. What do you think about the Trump accounts? I'm all ears. Tell me in chat. David Webb is asking Rand Paul, what's the real deal with your senior senator from Kentucky? Is he being held up weekend at Bernie style, like Joe Biden? Here's an 8-minute video I'm not going to play, but Standing for Freedom Center says birthright citizenship was never intended for illegal aliens or temporary visitors. Authors of the 14th Amendment explicitly distinguished citizens from those who owed allegiance to a foreign power, and the Supreme Court ignored that. Neighbor lives next door to Senator Mitch McConnell. Says she was there when the medical emergency occurred and saw him being taken to the hospital. According to her, she has not seen anyone at the home since that day. Brian Eastwood says it's just absolutely wild that Mitch McConnell was a Senate Majority Leader with a wife who is loyal to the CCP, and it was known. Now, if we're talking about Mitch McConnell, check this one out. Scott Jennings. You know him from CNN fame. He says, I spoke to my old friend Mitch McConnell this morning, the senior senator from Kentucky. He's still recovering in the hospital. We talked for just shy of 20 minutes about Iran, Ukraine, the unfolding situation in Maine, my visit to the TR Presidential Library, and even a little bit of Senate history. I told him we want to see him back at work as soon as possible. So, right there, Scott Jennings gives us the closest thing to a proof of life that we've seen. Do you believe Scott Jennings? McConnell spent 3 weeks in the hospital, says the Washington Post. His office will still not say what sent the 84-year-old Kentucky Republican there, his latest condition, or when he might return. McConnell's absence further complicates matters for the Senate Appropriations Committee, which is already running behind schedule. The committee has not advanced any spending bills for the 2027 fiscal year due to disagreements over defense funding. Guy should have stepped down a year or 2 or 3 years ago. SciPost says a massive analysis of Swedish population records reveal that people with higher cognitive abilities are more likely to vote and donate to charity and buy eco-friendly vehicles, suggesting general intelligence directly influences actions. And it's a deep dive if you want to take a look. By the way, this might be the coolest video I've seen in a long time. Check this out. Just when you thought you've seen it all. Gotta mute it. There's a car on the gate. Look at this. Look at this thing. And the wheels roll along with the gate. I don't care who you are. That is awesome. Joker Poker used to work for Raycom Media, 35 news producing channels. Air quote, news producing. They showed me where the news came from. There was only 3. And they're highlighted with green and red. That's why all the news sounds like a parrot everywhere. They get their script. They ad-lib a little bit around the edges. Joker Poker says, yep, sounds like a parrot everywhere in the media. I just think that's so cool, having a car on your gate. It's hillbilly, but it's awesome. It can be both, right? I think so. Purity test enforcer says it was beyond obvious that a guy who served 4 tours, worked with Blackwater, had a Nazi tattoo, and never really apologized or showed remorse would also be an arist. People wanted to be accepted by the Democratic machine so bad that they refused to see it. I love watching it implode. Corey DeAngelis says the National Education Association will call for the impeachment, conviction, and removal of Donald Trump from the U.S. presidency, and they want a national march on D.C. to remove Trump. Mike Lee says the NEA, the country's largest public sector employee union, enjoys a unique federal charter, which it abuses to act as a fundraiser and a partisan organization for the Democratic Party. New York Post says the record surge in illegal immigration during the Biden admin triggered higher home prices and rents. Republicans say the next time a Democrat pretends to care about affordability, laugh in their face. Biden's open door sent prices soaring for all Americans. Charles C.W. Cook says it's quite funny that the case for Plattner, up until about 15 hours ago, well, yes, he has a Nazi tattoo and a history of saying terrible things and treats women abominably. But on the other hand, he's a communist. So it all kind of balances out, right? Andrew Wilkow shows us this list of sexual deviants and says all that's missing is the grand poobah, Ted Kennedy.
A lot has been said about me today through anonymous allegations. I thought it was important
relations with that woman.
that you see and hear from me directly.
I never
These
told
allegations of
anybody to
sexual
lie.
assault
Not a
flat,
single time.
False.
Never.
They're absolutely false.
These allegations
they did not
are
happen.
false.
They have
Liars.
I need to
and
go
I will
back to
fight
work
them with
for the
everything that I
American
have.
Liars and creeps. President Trump with one of the greatest speeches ever at the 250 party.
You can be loyal to Karl Marx, or you can be loyal to America. You can be a communist, or you can be a patriot. You cannot be both. As for those who peddle Marxist lies about our heritage, who tell our children that we live on stolen land or that our heroes were oppressors, they're doing something much worse than slandering our past. They are slandering and attacking our future. Not going to let that happen. They're trying to tear down the great American character, to destroy the people who declared independence, who crossed the Delaware, who settled the West, and conquered the skies. You know who those people are. But we will never let that happen. Our American ancestors did not shed their blood at Concord and Trenton, Gettysburg and Shiloh, Midway and Normandy, just so that a band of thieves, radicals, and lunatics could come in and loot, pillage our nation. Our heroes died to win, build, and to save, and to build truly a great country, the greatest country ever in the world. So on the eve...
It's nice to see a president that doesn't talk crap about this country nonstop. Marco Rubio put this out 6 years ago. It's still important today. Cuban, he knows all about it.
Democratic socialism sounds benign, but at the core of democratic socialism is Marxism. And at the core of Marxism is this fake offer that if you turn over more of your individual freedom, we're going to provide you security. We're going to provide you free healthcare. We're going to provide you free education. But the problem is that when they can't deliver on it, or when you're not happy with it, you don't get your freedoms back. And by freedoms, I don't just mean elections. I'm talking about the right to choose your own doctor, the right to make healthcare decisions for yourself, what your kids learn in school, what schools they go to. All that stuff you lose control over, and you don't get it back just because the security they promised you didn't happen. So that's what we're on the verge of having to decide here in this country. It's a reason why people flee countries that have this stuff. It's a big deal for America, and I hope people start waking up to that reality. Democratic socialism sounds benign, but at the core of democratic socialism is Marxism.
And you know what they say about socialism or communism? You can vote your way into it, but you have to shoot your way out. So don't take a nibble at the worm at the end of a hook. Check this out. Sean Hannity posted this. Dude from the Islamic Republic of Iran Says, I have one word only. I advise to the representative of the United States to be polite. Well, there's a response to that. Check this out.
I have one word only. I advise to the representative of the United States to be polite. It will be better for yourself and the country you represent. Thank you.
The representative of the United States has asked for the floor to make a further statement.
Frankly, I'm not going to dignify this with another response, especially as this representative sits here in this body representing a regime that has killed tens of thousands of its own people and imprisoned many more simply for wanting freedom from your tyranny. Thank you, Mr. President.
I have one word.
Yeah. Let's not get it twisted. Gateway Pundit reporting on this. This story is just atrocious. Horror. 16 almost feral children who can barely communicate have been found living in filth and feces in rural Ohio home. 4 adults have been charged. I want to know more about this story. This is just awful. Sonny Hostin feels unsafe if the neighborhood has American flags. Anthony Cumia says, I wonder if she feels unsafe in wealthy Purchase, New York. Here's Sonny's home. Look at this. This is a massive, sprawling bed and breakfast or hotel or a ski resort. This doesn't look like a house. You feel unsafe there? Yes, keep your head on a swivel, Marion. Got to run. We'll see you later. Tomorrow's show might be later in the evening. Still have to figure out what's going to work best. I'll keep you posted. Judith says Republicans are pushing multiple new bills to ban all non-citizens from receiving any welfare benefits. No SNAP, no Section 8, no Medicaid, nothing. Okay, great, but why is this even an issue? Why is this even a thing? Steve Ferguson says, I thought that SNAP and Section 8 had already been taken away from illegal aliens. It appears that I thought wrong. This is why they are leaving, this is why they are not leaving in droves, because they're still collecting money. What a shame. This lady, Angela Alsabrooks, asked to defend Graham Plattner. Democrat Party's such a mess.
All Democrat. What do you think about the controversies, the social media posts that leaked, and now this scandal of him soliciting?
You know, I don't know him. Honestly, I've never met him. What I do know is that I'm supporting Democrats. We need Democrats in office to fight back against Donald Trump.
Fight, fight, fight. That's all they do. New American Media says America would benefit from having 0 Democrats in office. They ruin everything they touch. Barry Collins says Elizabeth Warren has never created anything except rhetoric. A speech in 95, speech in 05, speech in 15, speech in 25. She complains about things. Elon, robots, satellite Starlink, Tesla electric cars, SpaceX rockets, $1 trillion. He built things. Choose wisely. So a woman who dated Graham Plattner says he sexually assaulted her and said any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically untrue. Matt Whitlock says Graham Plattner got drunk, broke into a former girlfriend's house when she asked him not to come over, and forcibly AR'd her. Dude seems like a mega creep. Abe Hamadeh, you remember him from Arizona, congressman for Arizona's 8th congressional, says, I'm filing articles of impeachment against Judge Sparkle Sukh. Her power grab against President Trump cannot be tolerated. Rogue judges like her are destroying the rule of law while communists undermine America. We have the right to know that only Americans are voting in our elections. Americans elected Trump to lead, not the rogue judges who are behaving as activists for the communists who are cloaked in their black robes. TMZ reports Mitch McConnell's daughter has deactivated her X account as the health mystery continues. This classic video of the dude working security that clearly doesn't care. This is Team USA playing defense against Belgium. Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. You're not. Go ahead. Yeah, you're fine. Okay, go ahead. That's a funny post. James Woods shows a picture of a burning church or a fire directly outside the church or both outside and inside the church. Wonder when that's from and who did it. I'll give you one guess. Could be more than one. Here's Mitch McConnell being told that the SAVE Act has the votes to pass. Oh, does it? Not if I can help it. I'm back. The general says Kash Patel and his team located several hundred pages of documents related to Seth Rich in a hidden room at FBI headquarters. Yeah, Cheryl, how many hidden rooms are there at the FBI headquarters anyway? Yeah, we need justice for Seth Rich. Look at that guy. Patriot. Tim Burchett says, wait, the FBI said they didn't investigate this? They said it was a local matter. I'm Tim Burchett, and I'll leave the light on for you. This one's funny. Bobby Kennedy going up against Senator Lujan, Democrat. Democrats don't know what they're talking about.
To sharing
Piece of evidence 1000.
the protocols used for the autism study with Congress and to the public?
They're public.
Will you commit to giving it to this committee by the end of the week?
No, not because that's not the way it works.
Will you?
You don't even know what you're talking about.
Mr. Secretary, will you commit to sharing the protocols for the study by the end of the month?
We already have.
You just said it's public.
We put out the notice of funding opportunities, and then the scientists from all over the world.
You're not understanding me. Let me
No, you're not understanding how the world works.
Do you understand what the protocols are? Do you understand what they are?
The scientists who are doing the studies submit the protocol.
Okay, so you know what they are.
That's not coming from us.
So will you commit to sharing those protocols with this committee?
Well, anybody can get a hold of the protocol. It's published with the study.
Mr. Chairman, what I'd like to ask is for your commitment here to
They just don't know what they're talking about. Just everything they do is just trying to get in the way. Hey, did you see this video? The fireworks display goes sideways from this Ring camera, and the camera switches to daytime mode. Watch it. There's a lot of music. I gotta mute it. Sending off fireworks. That's pretty cool. Uh-oh. Ah. Oh, no, Terry. Terry, no. Look, now it goes into color because it's so bright. And they're getting direct hits from this, but they can't open the door. 3 kids and that lady. And then another lady. They closed the door, and right where these people were, look at this. Boom, boom. Boom. These are all hitting right at their, like these would have been hitting them. The fireworks display must have went sideways because everything went sideways. If you're all okay, you'll have a funny story to tell. Wall Street Mav says, I no longer donate anything to, air quote, charity. I've come to the conclusion that most charities and family foundations are complete scams. They aren't funding some noble cause. Their purpose is to provide salaries and pay the expenses of the executives or family members or other connected individuals. The charity wrapper is primarily a tax avoidance strategy. Trillions of dollars are parked in these tax-free entities, invested in growing and supporting designated beneficiaries with jobs and travel and expenses. I think I can understand that. I would concur. Thomas Massey asks, is America ready for my term limit legislation titled 3 Strokes and You're Out? A play on 3 strikes and you're out. Trash Panda, thank you for being here. Marion, thank you for being here. We'll see you next time. Yeah, tomorrow is likely to be an evening show. Provided I'm going to be able to do one, it will be in the evening. All is fine. This week is just very packed with things. 3 strokes and you're out. That's pretty funny. Here's U.S. men's national team player, Christian Pulisic, when America needs him to dominate Europe. Okay, come on. You know the thing. We got to win. We got to win. Yeah. New York Post says activists demand Black English be pushed on kids in California preschools. Huh? Shamika Michelle says, what the hell is Black English? Black English by slow Southern style. A new Ebonics that'll bring ya to your knees. Black English, if you please. I've never heard Black English before. There's not Black English, there's English. Good grief. Bill Maher discussing, I don't know who his guest is here, talking about the difference between Republicans and Democrats, and it's very telling.
If I thought that the people who hate me ever made an honest argument, they're the people who won't talk to me. The conservatives, who I don't vote with or agree on many things, they're always happy to talk. It's the woke people who are because they're not really that bright or learned about what the things they're arguing about, so they don't want to argue with me because they don't have. No. I always say to them, just engage on the argument I'm making. Tell me that the argument I'm making is wrong. No, it's always you're old or you're you're sexist. Well, these are labels. Yeah. What about the argument? If I thought that the people who hate me ever made an honest argument, they're the people who won't talk to me.
Yeah.
The conservatives, who I don't vote with or agree on many things,
they're always down to talk. The left can't because they crumble when reality is discussed. I've read to you this comedy bit on Saturday Night Live with Nate Bargatze before. Dandelion Georgism says, in every 4 years, when the World Cup comes around, we will say that we'd dominate if we had a stronger youth program. And we will develop a stronger youth program? We will not. Basil the Great says the EU has introduced a new law requiring all new cars made in Europe to have cameras fitted facing the driver and passengers. This is incredibly creepy. Super creepy. Gateway Pundit reports a judge says the alleged Jan 6 pipe bomber Brian Cole was not covered by Trump's sweeping January 6 pardons. And he might have been framed for this. Donovan Mitchell re-signed a mega deal in Cleveland for 4 years. Like $70 million a year. Congratulations. We're all waiting on LeBron James to announce if he's going to join the Cavaliers this season. Kirk Herbstreit says, man, I just want to thank the U.S. men's national team for the way they represented our country throughout the World Cup. Not just with your play, but how you handled yourselves before, during, and after the matches. No, it didn't end the way you'd hoped, but that's sports. The important thing is you brought so much excitement to your country and to your sport. Thank you for the ride and taking people like me, who know very little about the game, to look forward to each match and listening to and learning along the way. Keep your heads up, lads. We appreciate all of you. Batya Unger Sargon says, obviously it's better for the Democrats to drop an alleged rapist than stand by him. But it also underscores just how long they were willing to defend him, just how much they were willing to forgive. Batya Unger Sargon wrote a column saying the Nazi tattoo should have been enough. Katie Pavlich says, I mean, Ted Kennedy K'd a woman and went on to be praised as a women's rights champion at the 2012 DNC convention, while they accused Mitt Romney of waging a war on women. I'm not surprised at all, and if they thought that Plattner could win, their response would be different. Liz Churchill put this together, a compilation of we don't hire the unvaccinated, go home, proof of vaccination required upon entry, proof of vaccination required, open for the vaccinated only, which is so silly because if it worked, you wouldn't care what anybody else had, right? No. If you have the vax and if the vax is effective, you would never put a restriction on other people because you'd be impervious to it. Yeah, this can never happen again. Adam Carolla agrees. Ruben Gallego, probably a traitorous scumbag from Arizona, singing the praises of Graham Plattner.
This guy is an authentic man. You know, he's not anti-Semitic, and more importantly, not more importantly, but just as important is that he's going to win this election, and we need to win elections.
More importantly,
we cannot go another 4, 5, 6 years, trying to get the Senate back.
Graham Plattner. More importantly, just as importantly.
Like, we need to consistently win because whoever's going to be president in 2028, we need to hand them the House and the Senate.
No Democrats anywhere ever, please. Cinema Shotgun says, yep, the medical examiner report confirms Charlie Kirk, COD, was a wound. Doesn't come as a surprise to anyone with half a brain. However, Candace Owens cultists are flabbergasted by the information coming out of Tyler Robinson's preliminary hearing. No exploding microphone, no Looney Tunes anvil dropped from an Egyptian plane. Just a gunshot wound like every sane person knew from day one. Kevin Smith asks, how come we don't see any videos like this of Candace Owens and her husband? It's very in vogue right now to dislike Erica Kirk for some reason. I don't know. This was all acting. None of this was real. That's what some people say. I don't know. She's a pretty decent actress if none of this is real and she doesn't like this guy. And she was plotting to take him out the whole time. Oh, no, but she's so angry now. Are you kidding me? Do you know how angry I would be? You know how angry I am at Fauci for taking my brother? And I definitely didn't have kids with my brother. I don't know. I'm just waiting to see the investigation. I'll tell you how I feel about it once it's done. Laura Loomer says, in other words, since the medical examiner report said what I just told you it said, she says Candace Owens is a liar and a modern-day cult leader. Candace's conspiracy slop is immediately exposed on day one of Tyler Robinson's preliminary hearing. Candace repeatedly, the last 9 months, says Tyler Robinson never even set foot on UVU's campus. Then, lead investigator under oath today. Well, let's take a listen.
In fact, according to my source, Tyler has never even stepped foot on UVU campus.
Who is Tyler Robinson? What the fuck was he doing there?
I don't
Do you think
Tyler Robinson was there.
You don't think he was there?
No. I think he's a total patsy.
Were you able to determine at what time or times Mr. Robinson visited the UVU campus on September 10th?
Yeah, we were able to establish that Mr. Robinson had been on campus approximately 4 times throughout the day, twice before the shooting, the time of the shooting, and then after the shooting later in the evening into the early hours of the 11th.
Tyler has never even stepped foot on UVU campus.
Okay, so you either believe Candace or that this guy was there 4 times. Farming Central Virginia says per capita is racist. A study from the Bureau of Justice Statistics, National Crime Victimization Study from 2018, interracial violent incidents per capita of offending race. Look at that. The top two hate crimes, 42% and 20%. 42% black on white crimes. Second most common, Hispanic on white. Oh, what's the third? Black on Hispanic at 9%. Then you have 3% white on Hispanic. Then you have 2.5% Hispanic on black. And right there, the littlest one, white on black. Wasn't that a Kenny Wayne Shepherd song? White on black. No, that was blue on black. But what do you know? Meghan McCain says, just a side note, every Republican woman knows it's acceptable for most of you for Graham Plattner to assault a conservative woman. But assaulting a liberal woman, oh, that's the bridge too far. Because conservative women are valued less by the mainstream media in every conceivable way. Marjorie Taylor Greene tells TMZ Senator Mitch McConnell's wife, Elaine Chao, is a communist spy. 3.5 minutes. Watch it right there on our X account. PBS News says American Social Security benefits will have to be cut by roughly quarter in 6 years due to depleted funds, according to a June 9 report from the Social Security Board of Trustees. That's months sooner than the group had estimated in 2025. Steve Ferguson says the Biden regime gave roughly 4 million illegal aliens Social Security. Last month, the Trump admin said they took 300,000 illegal aliens off Social Security. Does this mean 3.7 million illegal aliens are still getting Social Security? Sounds insane. Liz Warren has thoughts on Graham Plattner.
That's my kind of man. That's my kind of man.
Okay, stew in that one, Pocahontas. So yeah, it's a big deal that Donovan Mitchell's re-signed 2 contracts in Cleveland after that big trade. 4-year, $273 million max contract. Now let's just see if LeBron joins. Elaine Chao, according to Rasmussen reports, was already in China when Mitch was getting CPR. The real question is, why didn't she immediately fly back to D.C. instead of meeting with the Chinese vice president 5 days later? And who exactly did John Thune speak with on June 15th? Wife Elaine Chao was in China at university on the 12th. 14th, D.C., McConnell was in full cardiac arrest with CPR. June 15, John Thune tells Politico he spoke with Mitch. June 17, wife Elaine Chao is in China with the Chinese VP. Kylie Jane Kremer says Porter McConnell, McConnell's daughter, appears to no longer be on X. The account is gone, and she used to be very active criticizing her father and Republicans, especially during the Kavanaugh hearings. Makes you wonder, was she asked to stay quiet while his health is being kept under wraps for her potential inheritance? Or is it all just a coincidence, just like Elaine Chao flying to China? C3 reminds us the time served in federal government: Alexander Hamilton, 5 years, George Washington, 8, Thomas Jefferson, 10, John Adams, 12. Now, Bernie Sanders, 35, Pelosi, 39, McConnell, 41, Chuck Schumer, 45. And it explains everything. Founders versus grifters. Here's your moment of zen right here. This cat. A couple was spotted in Turkey using a cat as a tripod. Leaned their camera up against it, take some pictures. It's pretty great. Spectator Index says Kalshi's prediction market has Marco Rubio leading in the 2028 presidential election with 18%, J.D. Vance at 17%, Gavin Newsom at 13%. Just in time for the All-Star game, Patriot Warrior Texas says, I think the final July roster of the TNAM Trash Pandas is ready. Are you on the new revised roster? Thank you to John for that. And of course, Nimbus and Ben are there. I love the TNAM Trash Pandas. It's so great. So yeah, Mitch McConnell, we just, we got to get more info. Gateway Pundit says 3 times deported illegal alien K's a 6-year-old American girl after running a stop sign at high speed. Mother and 4-year-old brother are seriously injured. Link in the comments section. Larry Elder says Victocrat is one who blames others for one's condition in life, who scapegoats and refuses to accept responsibility. I don't know who American social media influencer Jackson Hinkle is. Well, what is this? In front of a crowd of several thousand Iranian regime supporters during a rally in Iran, is chanting what?
Down with USA! USA! Down with USA! USA! Down with USA! USA! Down with USA! USA!
Ah, Jackson Hinkle. Down with the USA. Go Iranian Islamic supremacy. That's a weird take. And then all of a sudden, everyone stopped caring about soccer again. Don't really have to pretend at this point. Yeah, here's the report on Graham Plattner we were talking about.
Here's some breaking news coming into the story. Maine Democratic Senate candidate Graham Plattner responding to a bombshell new Politico report detailing serious allegations of sexual assault. Politico reporting, quoting now, a woman who dated Plattner says he forced her to have sex with him nearly 5 years ago, despite her repeated objections, an allegation Plattner denies. The woman, a 41-year-old Maine resident named Jenny Rassicott, detailed the alleged incident in 3 interviews over the past 2 weeks. Now, Plattner denying the allegations outright. He just put out a new video calling them, quoting again, troubling, serious, and false. He says, again quoting, "We are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love." More on this as we get it, and there will be more.
Good job, Democrats. John Fetterman, he just needs to become a Republican already.
So regardless, now when the entire Democratic Party in Maine has called him to leave, and now also, as far as I know, whether it's Schumer, Gillibrand, and other leadership in the DS and other people have all called him, had to go. He's a dead man walking. I don't know why he's trying to pretend that he's not done too. Even those Pod Save America people that pushed that dirtbag, and they dismissed those things in the New York Times article. Maybe they ought to apologize to the women that clearly they didn't believe or they dismissed that. I know Democrats that have, back to back endorsed and got all in on Swalwell and were on the Plattner train as well too. So maybe stop, getting on bed with absolute dirtbags, someone like Plattner.
They can't help themselves, though. Yep, Gateway Pundit also reporting new information on Seth Rich documents are in the FBI's possession. Man, oh man, am I excited about that. Leader John Thune discussing Mitch McConnell. And look at this face. I mean, he is tired. He's full of it. He knows that they know that he's full of it.
Senator McConnell, we're told, was hospitalized. Have you heard any word on him?
I have. I spoke to him yesterday, and he was in good spirits. I mean, he was very dialed in, paying attention to what's going on, and
Man, are these evasive eyes. Look at this body language.
Senator McConnell, we're told, was hospitalized. Have you heard any word on him?
I have. I spoke.
He's looking down and away. He can't look at Brett Baer in the eye.
To him yesterday, and he was in good spirits. I mean, he was very dialed in, paying attention to what's going on.
I mean, look at these shifty, darting eyes.
And indicated that he would be back soon.
Why the fuck you lying?
Why the F you lying? Oh, I hate Thune so much. Laura Loomer says she has a high-level source close to the White House saying Mitch McConnell is officially brain dead. He's not coming back, but, you know, we shall see. Steve Ferguson asks Senator James Lankford from Oklahoma, Republican, why did you gavel in the pro forma session in the Senate yesterday? Don't you know that you're sabotaging President Trump by preventing him from making recess appointments? It's amazing how Oklahoma, a deep red state, has so many rhino politicians. Gateway Pundit says, police officer reveals 350 FBI agents were ready to deploy on January 6th in newly released police body cam footage. CNN tells us French court has cleared the path for convicted, don't say far-right leader, there's no such thing, convicted conservative politician Marine Le Pen. The path has been cleared for her to run for president next year, but the judge rules that she must wear an electronic tag. Well, that's interesting. David Weigel says 3 weeks ago, John Thune was saying that he'd talked to McConnell and he sounded good. Now they know nothing about his condition. Mike Lee says many of us aren't speaking about Mitch McConnell's condition because we know nothing about his condition. We need a proof of life. We need something. So we'll see. We'll see if we get more information on that tomorrow. He's in good spirits. Kenneth, he's almost a spirit, he meant. Too soon, Kenneth, too soon. Mark, yeah, he's really dialed in. Yeah, dialed in with machine breathing, clearly. Oh, you guys are... We need transparency. We need a proof of life. And just... Mitch McConnell should have stepped down years ago. We've said that. We've seen that. We know that. Same with Biden. When you become incoherent, it's time. And there seems to be no mechanism to remove people once they're incapacitated. And that's a damn shame. Leanne says he was lying. I mean, look at his eyes. He could barely look Brett Baer in the face. Everything was eyes shiftily darting down and away. And I don't believe anything that John Thune has to say. Can't stand him. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Those are the main stories I wanted to cover today. We got a lot of questions. We're going to keep covering the Charlie Kirk case, keep covering Mitch McConnell, and all the other things that come up. Like I said, tomorrow, if I'm able to do a show, it will likely be in the evening after 8 o'clock. It'll be in the evening if I can do a show, because there's a coin flip chance that it's going to be such a long day. I will not have it in me. However, I like gathering with y'all, and evening crowds draw different faces. So that would be fun to connect tomorrow evening if possible, late afternoon, evening. Sometime after 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time is what I would be aiming for tomorrow. So we'll not be here for the regular noon Eastern time show, but thank you to everybody who was here today. Thank you to everybody who stuck around and came in a little bit later. Appreciate you being here. Rob and Leanne and Kenneth and Mark and I could name everybody in here. Joker Poker and Marion and Arnold and who was missing today? Dina was missing today. But it's all right. We're at a different time. So that some of that was to be expected. Anyhow, you know the drill. Signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe. I appreciate you. I love you, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.